This is the News 4 Rundown.
Hi, everyone. I'm Un Yang. We're in weather alert mode tonight as heavy rain and winds are moving into the area. Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Doug Kammerer here now with a look at what's heading our way. How bad is this going to be, Doug?
Tonight, not too bad. We got some showers out there right now. Not going to see a lot of wind with these. And temperatures that got into the mid to upper 50s across the area today. That was actually nice early.
It was nice. It was.
It goes downhill quickly tomorrow morning. Let me show you what we're dealing with out there right now. We've got some cloud cover around the area and starting to see some shower activity around the metro right now. Temperatures today, I mentioned those numbers, 57 in the city, 60 in Richmond, 52 in Hagerstown, the warmest day of the month so far out there towards D.C., but and we got some big changes coming our way. Look at the rain. We have the rain from Hagerstown to Frederick, Leesburg, down towards Fredericksburg. All seeing the rain, starting to see it moving in towards the metro area. You see it in through Fairfax County and the southern end of the Beltway, moving in towards southern Prince George's County as well, as this rain will continue to move from south to north across our area. The heaviest rain will be later tonight. So this is just moderate, light to moderate rain, and it is fairly steady at times. Back to the west. Here's the storm. You can see that storm system in that line of showers and thunderstorms, even a couple of severe thunderstorms with this, and we could have that here early tomorrow morning. So first we get this batch, and then we get this batch, and then we get the cold air and the wind. Wind advisory in effect for the day tomorrow. Northwest winds gusting 40 to 45 miles per hour. Everybody here in the brown color. You get back towards areas like the Blue Ridge and back here towards West Virginia and parts of Western Maryland. That's actually what's called a high wind warning for winds that could gust to 65 miles an hour. So watch out for any decorations that you have out there tomorrow. That could definitely be a problem. Your weather headlines: rain moving in right now. Heavy rain at times. Some thunder is possible with this, turning cold and windy tomorrow. I'm going to break that down for you and show you when the cold air really moves in, and then staying rather breezy and cool for this weekend. Not a bad weekend out there, but I'll explain that too. And of course, I've got Christmas in your forecast coming up.
All right, Doug, thank you. We'll see you soon. We want to continue with that following breaking news story that we've been on tonight about the rebranding of the Kennedy Center. The White House says the Kennedy Center board voted unanimously to change the name of the storied arts institution to the Trump Kennedy Center. But there is broad disagreement tonight about whether the board can do that or even whether the vote was unanimous. News 4's Jackie Benson has been following the pushback from lawmakers and members of the Kennedy family all evening long. She joins us live from the Kennedy Center now with the very latest. Jackie?
And this has been happening with whiplash, speed, and there is strong reaction. The logo has already been changed. The website of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts now reads the Trump Kennedy Center. There is a flood of disapproving statements from Kennedy family members, including one from Joseph Kennedy III, the late president's grandnephew, which reads, "The Kennedy Center is a living memorial to a fallen president and named for President Kennedy by federal law. It can no longer be renamed. Then someone can rename the Lincoln Memorial, no matter what anyone says." News 4 has learned from sources that the board meeting at which the Kennedy Center was renamed took place at a private residence in Florida, and that a number of board members, including President Trump, who is the chair, took part remotely. In addition to presidentially appointed members, there are what is known as ex officio members, appointed by statute due to their role in government. It is unclear whether they can vote, and if so, on which matters.
We can't just blatantly decide to do something because a rigged board of people who are true and loyal to this president and has no concern about the Kennedy Center and the rich history and all of the greatness that we've done.
The board can't change the law. Congress created the Kennedy Center as a living memorial to John F. Kennedy.
And as you heard Senator Warner say, congressional approval is needed for a name change, and it is unclear if the Senate could muster the 60 votes that they would need to do that. Back to you.
All right, Jackie Benson live for us tonight at the Kennedy Center. Jackie, thank you. A week from today, families of the 67 people killed in that deadly midair collision at Reagan National Airport will endure the pain of a holiday without their loved one. Today, those families are also being reminded of the tragedy after the federal government announced it accepted some fault for the crash last January. In a legal filing, the government said that it, quote, owed a duty of care to the victims, which it breached, leading to the fatal air collision. News 4 transportation reporter Adam Tuss has a closer look at what this means for victims' families and the government.
In a stunning admission, the government saying in court documents that it bears responsibility for the deadly midair collision near Reagan National Airport. And today, lawmakers reacting. Virginia Democratic Senator Mark Warner alluding to stresses on air traffic controllers.
I'm not surprised that there was a admission. Let's again acknowledge we're about 3,000 air traffic controllers short for our whole system.
Meanwhile, we received this statement from Tim and Sherry Lilly. Their son Sam was the first officer on the American Airlines flight. The Lillys saying, "We stand by the facts presented at the NTSB's investigative hearing, which confirmed that AA 5342 Captain Jonathan Campos and our son, First Officer Sam Lilly, complied with all required federal procedures and industry standard operating practices. They did everything right the night of January 29th. Well, this week, other family members of those lost gathered on Capitol Hill to call for increased safety in the skies around Reagan National Airport, asking that helicopters continue to be restricted in this space. Christina Stovall lost her son Mikey in the crash.
And please just keep our family in your thoughts and prayers because Christmas is going to be so empty. Thank you.
Now, Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine tells News 4 he'll push for all safety recommendations that are made when the NTSB releases its final report. That report is expected in the next month or so.
You tell us in the report what needs to be done. And as a member of the Armed Services Committee, I'm going to lean all over folks at the Pentagon to do what the NTSB says.
Back to this new legal filing from government lawyers. It also claims that the crew of the Army Black Hawk helicopter did not establish and maintain required safe visual separation with the American Airlines flight right before the crash. Now, lawyers for the victim's family that kind of started all this when they filed this lawsuit against the government, they tell us they are going to look for anybody who has a part in this and is responsible and hold them accountable. That's the latest here at Reagan National Airport. Adam Tuss, News 4, back to you.
Virginia's governor-elect and Democratic leaders are rolling out what they are calling their Affordable Virginia agenda. It begins to describe how they will deliver on their key campaign promise, reducing costs in the Commonwealth. It comes just a day after outgoing Governor Glenn Youngkin presented an upbeat picture of the Virginia's economy and said lawmakers should be able to offer even more tax cuts. But as Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey explains, Abigail Spanberger and fellow Democrats have a much different focus.
As the next governor of Virginia, my overarching, unrelenting focus in 2026 will be making the Commonwealth more affordable for our fellow Virginians.
Inauguration Day is still about a month away, but Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger and key General Assembly Democratic leaders outlining their plans for lowering costs, describing November's election results as a mandate from voters. The House Speaker also taking a swipe at the president.
They want us to lower cost. They were crystal clear. And what has Trump done to lower cost? The opposite.
They focused on three categories: lowering health care costs, finding ways to cut utility bills, and preserving and creating more affordable housing. Their proposals also tied to specific bills being introduced in the 2026 session. For example, on health care, blocking pharmacy benefit managers from driving up drug costs, and starting a pilot program to offer insurance premium assistance to help people who might be losing their ACA subsidies.
And so what we're proposing here today, a plan that is meant to stabilize the market.
When it comes to housing, legislation would extend the time renters can respond to evictions. Another bill would set up a low-interest loan fund so builders could more easily construct mixed-income housing developments. In his final budget presentation yesterday, Governor Glenn Youngkin boasted of a strong financial picture, urging more tax cuts.
Virginia, again, is running a significant surplus.
Democratic leaders preparing for a more challenging economic picture.
His whole budget presentation yesterday was a fiction. He got his budget. The legislature is going to, he proposes, we'll dispose.
The governor-elect saying if the proposals are adopted, some cost relief could come quickly, but other initiatives will take time.
I'll be clear, lowering the cost of living is a major economic task. It is not easy, and it cannot be done with the flip of a single switch.
Democrats also hoping some of the proposed legislation will get bipartisan support. Reporting for News 4, I'm Julie Carey.
Still to come tonight on the News 4 Rundown, a D.C. man contacted the News 4 I-team frustrated about his home care. It's part of a city program to help people with disabilities, but he says his years of complaints have led nowhere.
Sleeping on the job, overnight home nurses and aides paid for with your tax dollars caught on camera sleeping. Advocates and patients say it's a growing problem.
We are the most vulnerable residents in the district, and we deserve to have the best care possible.
What's leading to the issue and how to fix it? The I-team's exclusive investigation coming up.
And take a look at what I'm tracking for tomorrow. Look at the numbers here. We go up about 57 by noon. Actually, not bad at noon. And then, boom, the bottom falls out. And that's the temperature. Wait until you see the wind and the wind chill coming along with it. See you back here in just a minute.
All right, Doug, we're in weather alert. It looks like it's raining already in some spots.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outside in your car right now.
Okay.
Mine too. We're looking at the rain making its way in across it. Not just your car. We're parked fairly close. That would be cool if it did that.
Right.
But here's what's going on out there right now.
You don't do that?
I have seen that. I have seen it. It's pretty cool where the rain is on one side of the road, not the other side. Yeah, that works out. But that's not the case we got now. It's raining. This is Nebraska Avenue here in Northwest D.C. The rain is coming down, mostly on the light side right now. Temperature-wise at 50 degrees. We're going to drop as the rain begins, and we went from 53 down to 50 over the last couple of minutes here, and now down to 49 in Gaithersburg, 50 degrees Manassas, 46 in Culpeper. But the temperatures will actually go up again overnight tonight. Here's the rain. The rain making its way in pretty good now into parts of Montgomery County, Loudoun County, Fairfax, right on through Prince George's County, through the district, back to the west around I-81. We're seeing the rain there too, and this rain just continues to make its way up from the south, moving into our region, and it will continue to do so throughout the night tonight. We're tracking our storm system back to the west. This is a very strong storm. Behind this, we've seen extremely strong winds, upwards of 100 miles an hour. There's actually blizzard warnings back this way, up towards areas like Minneapolis, where the temperatures are so much colder, and severe weather out ahead of this. We could actually see a severe thunderstorm or two early tomorrow morning, and I'm going to take you through the timing of that in a second. I want to show you the temperatures. Out ahead of this, very warm. I mean, in Pittsburgh, it's 53 degrees. Buffalo is near 50, but look behind this front. 11 in Minneapolis, 26 in Kansas City, 16 in Pierce, South Dakota. So we've got very cold air that's going to continue to work its way our way along with that rain. So we have the rain in here tonight, 11 o'clock, everybody dealing with the rain. We have some moderate showers at times, but the heaviest rain will actually move in tomorrow morning. And this could actually come with thunderstorms. And you notice the timing here, right around 7 a.m., say 7 o'clock in towards 8 o'clock. Yes, we're going to see that chance for some thunderstorms. And once again, one or two of those could be strong to severe as this moves on through. Cannot even rule out an isolated tornado tomorrow. That's how dynamic of a system this is. And then behind this system, there's the cold air bringing with it some snow back towards the mountains. We're not going to get that, but what we will get is the wind. We have a wind advisory in effect for just about our entire area. Now, it doesn't include Fredericksburg or Waldorf or Leonardtown, but trust me, you'll still be on the windy side there too. The rest of us, we're seeing that wind advisory going into effect at noon. Winds gusting 40 to potentially 55 miles per hour. Could bring down some small tree branches, maybe even some trees during the day tomorrow. And, of course, watch out for those holiday decorations you've got around your house, too. Then it brings in the cold. Temperatures tomorrow morning. Look at this. Numbers into the upper 50s to near 60. And then watch out during the day we see cooler air. Now, again, around noon, it's not bad. But after the noon hour, the cold air really races in. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, our wind chill is in the 30s to low 40s. And then tomorrow night, it's your Friday night, and we've got wind chills back into the teens for much of the area, low 20s down around the D.C. metro area. So a very cold Friday night out there, and it's going to stay rather chilly as we head towards your Saturday. 44 degrees, wind chills in the 30s, 52 on Sunday, 40 degrees on Monday. Wind both Sunday and Monday. Monday we'll have wind chills in the 20s again. A little chilly on Tuesday, and then look what we've got here Wednesday and Thursday. Hey, Christmas Eve and Christmas actually looking pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, Christmas Day of 56 degrees. So once again, not looking bad out there at all. And look at the day after Christmas.
Look at Friday.
I'm actually going 60 degrees on, so we've got some better weather coming our way just in time for the holidays. We just got to get through tomorrow.
Exactly. All right, Doug. Thanks so much.
Yep.
So how do you think your boss would respond to you sleeping on the job? This next story is about a D.C. man who says people he relies on to keep him safe throughout the night often fall asleep, putting him at risk. They're nurses and aides provided by the district with your tax dollars. As Tracy Wilkins and the News 4 I team found out, advocates are raising the alarm about this growing risk they say is impacting some of the most vulnerable in our city.
Damon Brooks knows the value of a good team.
I don't like no typos, no misinformation.
As a writer for the Monumental Sports Network, he makes his living covering athletes.
I write about local colleges, high schools, and local professional teams.
And that team mentality is even more important for Damon off the job at home.
So, Damon, it's very clear to me that you are a go-getter, that you're going to meet your goals, but you still need help.
Absolutely.
13 years ago, a tragic wrestling accident with a friend left him a paraplegic. He depends on nurses and aides throughout the day, managed through a city program funded by Medicaid. It allows him to remain in his own home.
Your morning nurse is fantastic.
She's outstanding. We'd have no problems at all. She's like a mother to me. I love her to death.
Helping him with everyday tasks, checking his vitals, getting him ready for work, then for bed. A different team is supposed to monitor him overnight. That's when he says things get harder.
Every night since, I've unfortunately had this accident, I've had employees sleeping, snoring on the job, neglecting me. Sometimes I've been left sitting in wet chucks. Sometimes I've been, just neglected to use the bathroom, and it's been very difficult for me.
It's become such an issue, he's installed cameras around his apartment in plain sight. He says he's collected hours of employees appearing to sleep through the night.
They're supposed to be repositioning me, catheterizing me on time. They're not supposed to be sleeping and snoring, and they're supposed to be attentive to my needs, but sadly, that hasn't been the case.
He says he's complained for years.
I've sent pictures, I've sent emails to the nursing agency, the deputy mayor, council members. I've done multiple things to try to get assistance.
But says the problem has only gotten worse.
If there was an emergency in this apartment overnight, do you think you'd be taken care of?
Truthfully, I don't know.
He says in the last few weeks, he's had nurses and aides simply not show up for the overnight shift, leaving his mom to help him.
I won't lie, I've cried several nights. I've cried multiple mornings. It's a very depressing situation.
Advocates have raised concerns, too, about sleeping on the job earlier this year at a D.C. Council roundtable discussion on long-term care.
It is a very serious problem of aides showing up with no intention to work. Many of my clients report and have photos of aides arriving for the overnight shift, midnight to 8 a.m., with blankets, pillows, hair rollers, clearly intending to sleep.
Attorney Holly Eaton says because of a shortage of aides or PCAs, home health agencies allow their employees to avoid what they consider more difficult cases because they worry they'll quit.
If the beneficiary is able to articulate his needs, ask for assistance, and oversee what the PCAs are doing, the aides do not want to return to that job because they object to being told what to do and don't like being watched.
If you sign up for in the night shift, you go to sleep during the day. We all make sacrifices day in and day out. Just because it's a night shift doesn't mean you have the ability or the right to sleep.
A spokesperson for the Department of Healthcare Finance, which oversees the program for the city, told the I-Team, DHCF expects that all nurses or personal care aides are consistently available to deliver services as needed, safely and appropriately as needed, and in accordance with a Medicaid beneficiary's plan of care.
They have the ultimate oversight and sanctioning and enforcement authority.
Mark Miller with the Office of the D.C. Long-Term Care Ombudsman says the Department of Healthcare Finance can and should do more. He says every time one of these overnight aides closes their eyes, they are essentially stealing from taxpayers.
You're taking taxpayer dollars and not providing the service that you've contracted to provide. And there's really no other way to capture that. I mean, we would look at that as fraud. We also would look at that as potential neglect or abuse.
How big is this problem?
It's hard to know because I think some of it is unreported. Some people, like I said, do not want to kind of rock the boat because they're afraid then they won't get any aids in the evening or on weekends.
Damon doesn't have that fear and has complained to his case manager, the city, and nursing agencies.
How many night nurses do you think you've been through?
Over 40. With this particular agency.
He worries his reputation for accountability is scaring the help he needs away. But he says his fight is about more than himself.
I'm just really worried about, others, because if the others are subjected to this, that means we may have casualties, and that's something I really want to prevent from occurring.
We did ask DHCF about any steps it's taken to address the sleeping complaints, and also reached out to the various agencies that have provided aids to Damon. We did not hear back. We did find a sleeping complaint filed back in 2023 with one agency Damon has used. In that report, the agency said it retrained the employees on its sleeping policy and gave them a verbal warning. But at the end of the day, what advocates are saying is that tax dollars are being used to pay for this service. They're expecting that service to happen.
It's such a difficult position because people, we know it's a tough job, tough hours, but they're required to perhaps save someone's life in the middle of the night.
And that's the worry, especially for folks who are nonverbal
Right.
and can't communicate that something is happening. And that's what Damon is concerned about. Advocates we talk to say there needs to be more follow-up after someone makes a complaint, but also there needs to be more discussion to address the shortage crisis, incentives for nurses and aides to work overnight and weekend shifts, like getting overtime. These are tough shifts, and we know some of the aides are likely working multiple jobs to make ends meet. But as we were saying earlier, if there's one job they need to be awake for, it is this one, because you never know what can happen. He was setting alarms for some of these nurses to wake them up, and it may or may not work. So just imagine if a machine had gone off or if something had happened. And he didn't get the help he needed.
Yeah, and to his point, it's not just about him. There's so many other people who require this kind of...
Absolutely.
All right, Tracy, thanks so much for that great story. We'll be right back. It is going to cost a little more to satisfy your sweet tooth this holiday season. Chocolate, and who doesn't love it this time of the year? I'm eating way too much chocolate. It is definitely a holiday favorite. For some chocolate shops around the country, prices are increasing at one of their busiest times of year. But people will still buy that chocolate, probably. All right, well, it's that time of the week again for us to fix your weekend plans if you don't have any. If you haven't made them yet, we have you covered. Tommy McFly breaks it all down in the weekend scene.
'Tis the season for last-minute shopping and a quest for that holiday spirit. You can do both in Anacostia, Southeast D.C., doing their 12 Days of Joy.
Anacostia is the official arts and culture district for the city, and one of the reasons why is because of the level of creativity of the people that actually live here, unique small businesses that are legacy businesses. The area is, it's got an amazing vibe, and the murals, and it's got the holiday feeling going on. But when you come and shop, you'll see like very unique items that I think you'll really enjoy.
Bounce your way through the weekend in Bowie. Funbox Indoor Bounce Park is opened up, and you're looking at more than 10,000 square feet of inflatables, a giant slide, obstacle course, things to climb, and get your bounce on. Now, Funbox does have other locations across the country, but the Prince George's County one is the largest to date. Look at that, year-round programming to enjoy too with the family, birthdays, school groups, you name it. The Gay Men's Chorus of Washington is bringing in the season at Lincoln Theater with some holiday cheer. That was their visit to our studio, and you can check out their annual tradition on U Street. Now you'll be turning those ho-ho-hos into ha-ha-has with the ho-ho-ho, ha-ha-ha at Woolly Mammoth Theater. So it's an improv show with clowning, with audience involvement, and they're providing a bright spot in a time, that can be hard for many.
Christmas is a difficult time for many people, so it's kind of like embracing that element of it is a big part of the show rather than just like Merry Christmas, It's kind of like we're here and it can be difficult, but we're here together, and that's the most important part, to be connected.
Of course, there are so many places to skate, so many lights to see, and we've got a bunch of those in a roundup for you at NBCWashington.com. I'm Tommy McFly. Have an awesome weekend.
And that's going to do it for the News 4 Rundown for this Thursday night. We'll see you for News 4 at 11. Have a great night, everyone.